Hey, how's it going, Mythers? This is Paris. I am joined by Renwood, and we are shoutcasting the Etherials versus Vaalbara. Say hello to the audience, Mr. Renwood.
How's it going, Mithers?
And so today we have these two teams battling it out on the snow throughout your nose. It's a winter mesh of remix of the desert between your ears. Classic two-team map. The game type is CTF, and as you may notice, there is only 8 players in the game. This is a 4-on-4 right here. And as Garrick says, may the best team win. So, let's introduce the teams and the players here. We have Vaalbara, captained by Limp. He is accompanied by Garrick, Eastwind, and Asmodean. And in the east, we have the Etherials. They are captained by Ether. Joining him is Mouse Leisure, No Master, and Renwood, who, as stated and introduced, he is with us today. So, Renwood, how about you tell us a little bit about what's going on in your head and going on with your team in Game 1? I noticed there's no game chat, and I believe you guys are on Mumble, so let everyone know what's going on.
Well, actually, what we're doing, Paris, and why we're not speaking is that we're all practicing something called remote viewing, and it takes a lot of concentration. I'm trying to get my head, on the same wavelength as Limp's so I can spy on him. That's pretty much why we don't say anything. The other reason may be that we're all on like Vent or Mumble or fucking one of those things.
I was gonna say, that sounds pretty advanced.
Well, hell, man, I've been winning tournaments since the last millennium. Come on.
This is true. An original champion of the original Myth World Cup played on the Fallen Lords, right?
Oh, that's right. Except the person who got the better end out of that deal is Butcher got hired because of that shit by Bungie, and it's one of their top dogs to this day.
Yeah, man, it's good to organize tournaments. I am quite a fan of that business. So let's talk a bit about what's going on here. We have Ether, No Master, and Mouse Leisure taking Warrior and Archer splits. Seems like Renwood has more of a mixed bag of units, some pus. He's got the Journeyman, of course. It's his trademark unit. And Mel and Ether seem to be going mid while No Master takes his units south. Ethereals keep north scouted where Eastwind is heading, who has a warrior archer pack of his own. Garrick and Limp are checking out mid.
If you can see mid, I got my goals going at the very beginning across the bridge, TFL style, which you used to do to hunt down whites, but everybody just heals them these days. But in this instance, I'm doing it so I can scout their flag, because really we didn't want to have to fight these guys toe to toe BC style. I mean, these are some of the highest ranking myth people. For my money, Eastwind's the best player in terms of chill factor and just a good player and stuff. GKG might edge him out a bit, but sometimes he's difficult to say the least. But
yeah, he has a tendency to turn off his chill sometimes, but Eastwind, he's definitely one cool dude. And you'll notice here, he's going to start heading back towards mid. He scoped out Ethereals north, noticing there's no opposing units. Of course, there could always be something lingering, but in this case there is not. And Asmodean's going to push up on the south, getting No Master's attention.
So if you look back at our home, you'll see that I still have my fatty, my journeyman sitting there. I told the captain and everybody on the team I couldn't heal the whites because I was controlling the goals to scout. And I said, no, Ether, you heal, because I'm like dodging and shit. Because the plan is that we were, like I said, not going to fight these guys toe to toe, see if they would, leave their flag somewhat unattended, and then, sneak a flank, and then hopefully, take their flag. But we're starting to realize at this point, like, we're not getting any orders. Like, nobody's being told what to do. I think the last thing Ether said was Wars S. I don't know how much time has passed, but like, what happened was he had disconnected or something, either on purpose or accidentally, with connection issues from the Mumble server, and we didn't know that because he was still in the game. But like, he's not typing to us, and we're still speaking to him as if he's on the Mumble server.
That sounds like a troubling situation, man.
So we were just at a point where we were waiting, to be told what to do. I kept asking, are we going to flank? Because I've already scouted their flag, I think, at this point, and I saw all they have is one dwarf, a fatty, and I guess 8 thrall.
And now you guys are going to lose a dwarf mid. It's interesting to note that the Vaalbara team, more seasoned in the two-team scene and with tournaments, things of that nature, they opted to split all their units up evenly, whereas you only had those scout units, and it's pretty much a 3 versus 4. And now we have no master getting tag teamed bottom by the forces of Asmo and Limp. So you guys are getting pushed, but now your mid is responding. And it looks like Mal is done losing his artillery. He's pretty pissed, and he's gonna start rushing over here. Which might not be a bad idea, as they have no dwarves in their middle. They might not have even traded for dwarves. I don't think they did. I'm not sure if you guys... yeah, you guys got at least 1 or 2 dwarves. Yeah, but they can dud a lot on this map. It looks like Nomad's just taking some pretty big hits down here, losing the majority of his units. His dwarf is going to go down. Asmodean's going to continue chasing him while Limp goes to try to help out Vaalbara's mid, which is getting pushed pretty nicely by Mal and Ether, but...
here comes my mighty goal tripod.
Ether's gonna get all his units pussed, and Eastwind is gonna move in to try to attack that group. Looks like Garrick is gonna get pussed as well as Renwood. You just eat all of No Master's archers, or no, Eastwind's archers, I should say. And the little white is picking its head out, so the element of surprise is gone, and Limp is gonna catch up to the mid, and
yeah,
there's a 20, almost a 30% differential in percentage right now. Mal's gonna get off a bus, but it's a little bit too late as Asmodean pressures your home flag.
Yeah, that white peeking out, I was like, okay, that's game right there, because that white could have saved our asses, but Telegraph 5000.
Yeah, you guys, I don't know, you should have started backing up perhaps, try to put that weight into play more, try to get some sort of advantage back. Really tough map to play, as the most effective artillery by far is the Pus. The dwarves just seem to fall apart, and the archers do their job, but they're mostly just long-range specialists.
You know, it's funny, watching this film, it seems like we did better than when it was happening.
Flag contested.
It was, you know, if we would have gone with the plan that Ether had, the whole, you know, scout them and then flank with a warrior and goal pack and take their flag, if we would have actually done that, I think we could have totally won. But like I said, there was that communication problem.
Yeah, that's why it's tough. If you're using voice comm, you pretty much need everyone on there, and if 1 or 2 people are missing, It can cause issues just because people are constantly just sharing information, and being left out can just
they're not in the same conversation, is what it seems like.
Move over.
And so Vaalbara is going to push up here, and it looks like they're going to capture your flag. With 6 minutes remaining, they definitely have plenty of time. We get some arrow dodging going on by your goal, buying your time, but it won't be enough. Ether moves to save his ratios.
Move over. Flag captured.
And that will be it. So let's take a look at the statistics, talk a little bit more about what's going on and went on during that game. So over here for Vaalbara, we have Captain Limp, the Lord of the Undergloom. He has 11 kills, 7 losses, 19 damage. Limp did a good job directing his team here and definitely playing to their strength that everyone pretty much gets the same amount of units. So solid job capping by him. You have Garrick, 18 and 3, 37 damage. He put on a show mid with his archers. I believe his archers also took out the first Etherials dwarf on the map. Although dwarves didn't prove to be that effective in the long run regardless. 6-to-1 ratios are the best kill to loss ratios in the game, so good job Garrick. He is tied as well in the damage lead with Eastwind. But before we get to Eastwind, Asmodean, 15 kills, 3 losses, a 5-to-1 ratio there, 30 damage. He had that flank south matched up against No Master, and once Limp was able to join the fight and lend some assistance, they cleaned up that south pretty quickly and were able to push on towards victory. Eastwind, 13 kills, 10 losses. Losing the most units for Vaalbara, but securing the win at the end of the day, and as stated before, tying in the most damage. I mean, sometimes you have to crack some eggs to make an omelet, you know. So we'll move on to the Etherials. We have Ether 5 and 26. Ouch. About 1 in 5 ratio of kills to losses. Leading in damage for his team though with 25. Might have been contributed to the fact that Renwood took all of the whites and journeymen for his team. He chose to get dwarves here. I don't think it played out that well, and of course losing the ability to communicate with his team definitely hurt in the long run. Then below him we have Renwood, 4 kills, 7 losses, 5 damage, a low amount of damage, but you took about the same number of units off the map. You were able to go positive despite healing all those whites, and you cleaned up Eastwind's archers. One of the better plays for your team mid. I definitely wish you had gotten some more units here and had squatted up. I think it would have been a more interesting fight. But regardless, well played, man. You did what you could, and then and also very good job scouting. As you said, TFL style, old school style, but really that was just the way you played 2-team back then.
Yeah, everybody used to get pretty much it's a surprise, you know, when anybody sinks a white these days.
Yeah, you don't want to get caught.
So I just mostly it was for, you know, scouting, just to see what they had on their flag. You know, the only thing I was worried about if we actually did some flank was if they could get some guys from the middle back to their flag, you know, in time to prevent us from taking it out from under them. Because honestly, we didn't think we really had a chance playing them, you know, toe-to-toe, mano-a-mano, fucking, you know, BC style. But in those cases, you play game type, you know. Don't try to kill them. Go for the objective. And Yeah. So if we would have been able to do that, I think it would have been much better. If at least stick if you have a plan, stick to the plan until it's obvious it's not going to work. And we just didn't really get to do that with the communication issues that we had.
Yeah, man, very unfortunate that happened. Can't stress enough how important communication is in this game. Even when you're sending your goals out, you're helping provide communication, just that basic information, scouting where the enemies are going, what they have, what might be missing. But let's finish up with the stats here real quick. We have Mouse Leisure 3 and 14 with 14 damage, and No Master 3 and 14. 3 and 13 with 14 damage. They're both tiny damage. A lot of losses. I don't know. It's a lot of units to manage on this map as it is. And I feel like after you had scouted, having that initial plan and sticking to it is good. But I think you needed some sort of meteor, so to speak, backup force in order to aid your team, just in case there was a stalemate after you scouted and they kept their flag well defended, which it looks like they did. I mean, they did in fact trade for a dwarf, and they chose to leave it on D. Quite amount of thrall, a journeyman with a heal left. Even some wars sent back just in case, so they kept their flag well defended. What was the plus ratio over here? I see 5 heals to 2. How many whites did you attempt to sink? Only 1 or more?
No, we attempted to sink 2, and one of them made it in. The other one got popped. But as I was saying, I was telling people I couldn't heal whites because I was scouting, and I told either to do it or have somebody else do it, but that never went through. I think had we got our both our whites in sooner, it would have been a lot better. We could have feigned losing and run away to like lure them into the middle to blow them up and stuff. And I like to use a lot of TFL era tactics because they seem to have forgotten them or they're not familiar with them. It's kind of a wild card these days. You're probably the only other myth player that loves J-Man as much as I do.
Hey, they get the job done. I definitely think they're exploitable.
And I think having a heal or 2 left over because you didn't get max pus. If you can heal 2 red dwarves, I mean that's at least worth 1 extra dwarf.
That is correct, man. They keep your units safe and sound. They can take explosive hits. I'm definitely disappointed I did not see a max J-Man strategy from either of the teams here. But regardless of that, let's go over to the graphs real quick, because the team colors actually allow for them to show up. And it looks like from the get-go, Vaalbara started taking your units off the map, and while you guys were dealing some minute damage towards the beginning of the game, you guys don't actually register a kill until halfway through the game. If you check out the graph, total kills versus time. Interesting stuff if you think about it.
Yeah, that right there shows the indecision. We're like waiting for orders. That's
or
why,
direction.
Yeah, we're like wondering, what are we gonna do? And as I said, we're talking to the team captain like he can still hear us, but he's not on Mumble. And as I said, it just seemed weird because he's still on Myth. But I've seen people though where they'll get disconnected from one thing but not from the other, and you're like, what?
Yeah, man, it's true. Well, let's wrap it up with game 1 over here between Vaalbara and the Etherials. Vaalbara taking game 1. We are going to move on to game 2 of this round 3 match. I believe, the second match of the bottom bracket. And, yeah. Catch the next
GG.
game, guys. Yeah, GG's.
Team. I'm sorry, man, but your quarter's used up. Bye.
Okay, I'll get the other one ready.